Yeah! Woo! Heck yeah, baby!
Rivers gives to Sproles, angling left, has room, 15, 10, 5, jackpot! He got it! He got it! He got it!
Touchdown, Antonio Gates! 112 career touchdown catches. That's the most by an NFL tight end all time.
I would have hoped that people would have figured it out. I just like to play football.
This is Score More with Garrett Sisti.
Let's go!
What's up, good people? Welcome to Score More with your boy, Garrett Sisti. We've got a lot going on. Chargers are heading into the bye. Thanks to everybody that's followed along on Twitter, Patreon, Discord, YouTube, everything else. Appreciate you guys. It has been a wild ride so far in the first 4 games, the first month of the season. And the bye week is upon us, and it couldn't have come at a better time for the Chargers. And I say that now because the injuries are mounting. Who knows what it'll be in 6-7 weeks from now. But for right now, there are a lot of injuries, key injuries too, for the Chargers. So a week to rest, a week to right some wrongs that have happened through the first 4 games. And I don't have anything today outside, bits or any, hey man, what are you doing or anything like that. Just one simple concept or idea or just something I think the Chargers need to hammer and spam coming out of that bye week, because while they're 2-2, and so are the Broncos and the Raiders, and the Chiefs are 4-0. So while they're all at 500, meaning 3 of the 4 teams in the AFC West, it's obviously not over. There's a lot of good things the Chargers did in the first 4 games. Some issues heading into this bye week, but there's one grand idea, one concept the Chargers need to keep going after, keep tapping the well, and it is just simply feeding Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey through 4 weeks has been nothing short of impressive. I know that Marvin Harrison Jr. has flashed a lot. Malik Neighbors looks like a wide receiver 1. Ladd McConkey for the Chargers is just starting to ascend with each game that he's played. And what we've seen from Ladd McConkey in the run game as a blocker, and what we've seen in the short to intermediate routes from Ladd McConkey, he is a dude that is always open. When you look at Quentin Johnston, who has obviously improved through the first 4 games, already, jumped his stats from his rookie season, especially in terms of touchdowns. But I don't know that anybody can really trust QJ to go to him on a money down. We saw a ball bounce off his hands and almost get intercepted against the Chiefs game. We saw him get basically manhandled to the sideline. He couldn't get back in bounds really to go after a pass on a sideline from Herbert, which not a perfect throw, but you can't let the defender ride you out of bounds. You can't let that happen. You got to work your way inside. He couldn't. And so, and there's also a deep pass to Quentin Johnston where he didn't even get his head around. He didn't even know it was there. So I'm not sure that anybody can say starting now that Quentin Johnston is a clutch performer, or at least a guy that could be totally dependable. Better? Sure. Dependable? I don't know. So far, he's been okay. Joshua Palmer, I know a lot of people are pretty upset with him, how he fell down. He actually fell down twice during that game on low passes, one of which he dropped from Justin Herbert, but the other one, he had two blockers in front of him. If he doesn't fall down and catch it going into the red zone, normally that'd be a touchdown. If not a touchdown, a first down, but he falls, kind of sits, rolls, gets touched before the sticks. They got to go for it on 4th and 1. The Chargers don't make it, but a pretty poor play from Joshua Palmer, who needed to keep his feet and move forward, especially that late in the game. And those kind of mistakes against a team like the Chiefs, they end up biting you. And it did for the Chargers, because they went for it on 4th down, didn't score, and it didn't work out. So Joshua Palmer, another guy, not sure anybody is really quite sold on yet. We had hoped that he'd be the wide receiver 1 going into this year. He's been banged up. He's back. Nice couple catches on Sunday, but, again, is he dependable? What you can say about Ladd McConkey is that he has been dependable. When you get Ladd McConkey the ball, it is almost always being caught, and he's almost always moving forward. He is diving for first downs. He is looping around for first downs where he's trying to make a man miss. We saw a pass at the line of scrimmage where he can get, a 5 to 6 yard gain just from getting something near the line of scrimmage and moving forward. Ladd McConkey has been awesome for the Chargers. And the fact that he's not getting 10 plus targets a game really feels like they're starting to mishandle him. Yes, he's a rookie. You want to kind of start him off slow. Outside of the bye, feed this man. I mean, he is always open. The Chiefs, towards the end of that game, decided we want to take Ladd McConkey away. They started to double him. They shadowed a DB on his side almost the entire second half. They made sure a linebacker was always keeping eyes on him, and they wanted to make sure that they'd have at least 2 guys in the area of Ladd McConkey as much as possible, and you saw the offense didn't really work. They've got to find ways to get Ladd McConkey the ball more often. In game 1 and game 4, Ladd McConkey had 7 targets. In both games, he had 5 catches, and in both games, he had a touchdown. I don't think that's a coincidence. Small sample size, yes, but more targets, more good things happen when you hit Ladd McConkey. And look, if you're following the pattern, anytime he's got more than 5 catches, he's scoring a touchdown. So lean into that positivity. Lean into that positive games because your offense is not quite clicking right now. If the running game isn't working, feed Ladd McConkey. If the running game is working, feed Ladd McConkey. That man needs 10 plus targets a game. And I know a lot of people will compare him to Julian Edelman or Danny Amendola, Eric Decker, because he's a small white receiver. Yes, maybe some Randall Cobb. Let him work in the slot. Let him get 10 plus catches. All those players were catch monsters. They were PPR favorites for anybody playing fantasy football, but they were guys who maybe they'd get 100 catches or 100 yards, but who come on 10, 11, 12 catches. You'd see them get 30 to 40 yard gain up the seam, or a lot of 30-yard, 40-yard gains on yards after the catch. That's the type of role that you have to give Ladd McConkey going forward. He is your number one. Julian Edelman with Tom Brady late in his career was the number one. Same with Amendola, Decker, when you're looking at him with the Broncos, Randall Cobb with Aaron Rodgers. You don't need a CeeDee Lamb or a Justin Jefferson this year because you don't have it on the roster. But what you do have is a guy that when you feed him, more good things happen. And Ladd McConkey needs 10 plus targets a game. Period. Going forward. Force feed Ladd McConkey. Let me show you why good things happen when you get Ladd McConkey involved. Let's look at the game from Sunday. First play from scrimmage, right after the Carson Steele fumble. Thule stripped him. Chargers get the ball. They're able to get some positive yards, going to Ladd McConkey immediately. What you love about this play design is you've got Ladd McConkey moving. By the way, motion, motion, motion. Get Ladd McConkey running. Get him moving. You got him running towards the line of scrimmage, cutting back out, catches the ball 3 to 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage, still able to get 6 to 7 yard gain. Here's another one. Same drive. We've got a 2nd and 8. Ladd McConkey in the slot next to QJ. Little comeback. Makes Drew Tranquil miss. Easy first down. Yards after the catch. Chargers don't have a lot of that on this roster. Ladd McConkey is one of them. Good hands. Looping back. Tranquil can't wrap up around the hips. Then he hits the sideline to gain an extra couple more yards. Doesn't run into a tackle. Still avoids contact. Gets as much as he possibly can. Now the marquee catch, which is both on Herbert and Ladd McConkey here. Justin Herbert takes a hit. Ladd McConkey just working his way back to his quarterback. Safety, Brian Cook's got him. His back's to McConkey. McConkey peeks out. Gives Herbert a target. Gets the ball low as he's falling. Perfect throw from Herbert. Great body control from Ladd McConkey. Getting a knee down. Inbounds as he's falling to the ground. Securing the catch. Another touchdown for Ladd McConkey. Catch number 4 in the first quarter. After a Trey Pipkins false start, it's a 2nd and 20. Got to get some yards. Ladd McConkey in the slot again. Works towards the middle of the field. Works out. Couple yard gain there. But you see, nice little shiftiness. Able to get open. He's wrapped up there by the DB, but he's able to get loose. And then Ladd McConkey gets his last catch. He didn't get anything in the second quarter because that quarter was a little wacky from field position standpoint. But then in the third quarter is when the Chiefs obviously shifted and decided to make sure Ladd McConkey wasn't getting the ball as much. He's in the slot on a 2nd and 11. Again, working in the middle of the field, yards after the catch. Get him moving. This is what you see from those shifty little slot receivers we were talking about earlier. This was just like a play the Lions ran on Monday Night Football. They got Jamison Williams the ball in space, but this is the Chargers' own Jamison Williams. Fake the handoff, nice play action. Fakes out, breaks in. Corner had no chance. And a big gain for Ladd McConkey. While the touchdown was the highlight of the day for Ladd McConkey, especially on social media, we saw the types of things Ladd McConkey can do in the passing game. This is the thing that you can hang your hat on as an offense. Ladd McConkey is such a nuanced route runner that it's hard for DBs and linebackers, as you saw and as you're starting to see throughout the season now, to keep track of what he's going to do. Is he going to break you off inside? Is it just going to be a go route and he's going to go over the top? Is he coming back to the quarterback? Is it a slant? Is it a go? What is Ladd McConkey going to do? It's hard to tell because his route tree is so extensive. You're seeing him running so many different routes at different speeds. There's a lot of stop and go, but it's hard to keep track of all that. And defenses are having a hard time. The Chiefs decided in the second half that they wanted to shade somebody over on Ladd McConkey. After his 37-yard scamper down that sideline across the middle that we saw in that last clip, the Chiefs decided they didn't want Ladd McConkey to hurt them anymore. But what you got to do going forward is know that I understand you want to run the ball. They're going to try to do that. And that's fine. We're okay with that as long as the offensive line is intact and they're being successful doing it. But what's important, whether it is working or not, is feeding Ladd McConkey. He is your new wide receiver one. It's not going to be DJ Chark. It's not going to be Quentin Johnston. It's not going to be Joshua Palmer. Feed Ladd McConkey. He doesn't need to have 100-yard games. He hasn't had a 100-yard game. In fact, his biggest input was this Sunday where he had 5 catches for 67 yards, but good things happened. When Ladd McConkey got involved, which he did a lot on that first drive, they scored a touchdown. After that, we saw only one pass to Ladd McConkey caught, not including targets. The only thing we saw was that catch in the third quarter, and that's when he got a 37-yard gain. What I'm saying is the Chargers now have something that they can hang their hat on. Feed Ladd McConkey. It happened in college when he was at Georgia. He was the guy to go to on gotta have it downs, on money downs. Now, heading into this season, going forward after this bye week, no more kitty gloves for the rookie. Feed him. He is going to be your receptions monster. You see what happens when he gets the ball in his hands. Good things happen. He's moving downhill. He is not moving backwards, and only positive yards are happening. I didn't show a lot of clips from the first 3 games. I didn't show any. But you're seeing a lot of Ladd McConkey making a catch, knowing he's going to get hit, diving down, trying to get a first down or at least gain a yard or 2 after the catch when he knows he's going to get tackled. You saw he got wrapped up pretty early on that second to last catch there. There wasn't much gain. But everything out of that, when he caught the first pass from the first play from scrimmage, you saw him catch it 2 to 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You saw a tackler about 2 yards after the line of scrimmage, and he was able to make it a 7-yard gain. Good things happen when you give Ladd McConkey the ball. They're going to have to dial this up going forward for the Chargers, and they're going to have to keep feeding Ladd McConkey. So me, right now, the recipe for success is feed Ladd McConkey. Again, whether the run game is happening or not, whether good things, good vibes, or what have you are happening in the run game, you have got to feed Ladd McConkey. Herbert isn't getting a ton of time. That bodes well for Ladd McConkey. You can get open real fast. If you got to work on a lot of quick hitters to kind of slow down that pass rush, so be it. But what they have to do going forward is get Ladd McConkey 10-plus targets going forward. Only good things happen when you feed Ladd McConkey. I can't say it enough. After watching this game again for a second and third time, there were some good things. Most importantly, especially defensively, but most importantly, offensively, there wasn't a ton good that happened. But the best thing coming out of that game was knowing that you have your new wide receiver one in Ladd McConkey. The rookie is ready. Start to dial it up and start to feed him more. So that's my recipe. That's something, I mean, I'm sure you're thinking the same thing. I'm sure a lot of other people are thinking the same thing. And I'm hoping Greg Roman and Harbaugh are thinking the same thing as well. Because Ladd McConkey is becoming a threat anytime he touches the ball, which means you got to get it to him as much as possible. So going forward, 10 plus targets for Ladd McConkey. Thank you for saying it with me. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Real quick one. I know we got the bye week coming up. We'll have more podcasts all this week. Hopefully the Chargers rest. They're not going to, normally I say hopefully they score more on Sunday. They're not going to. So I will just see you next week. I'm sure I'll have another score more and we'll do something fun. Okay? Thanks so much. I know vibes aren't great at the moment, but Ladd McConkey was real good. So give the ball to Ladd McConkey, and let's just hope the Chargers score more by giving 10 plus targets to Ladd McConkey going forward.